All right. Hello and welcome, everyone, to another fabulous episode of Rollin Heavy. I am your host, Big D, joined as always by BOF. How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing well. As you can tell, I got a little under the weather. Hard to hear my voice. So, if you want to bask in the wisdom that is coming from the notorious BOF, turn your sound up.
And I'll try not to talk too loud to blow out your eardrums. All right. So it's been a little while since our last episode. Unfortunately, BOF's been a little bit sick, as you can hear a little bit in his voice. It's hard for him to talk, so we didn't want to go for a couple hours and wear him out. So we're good. We're back tonight.
Yep,
This might be like a flu game. Remember, like the Jordan flu game where he puts up 40 and wins a playoff series.
it is. You know what? I'm gonna push through. I'm a champion.
You are. You
I
are.
am. Like this ain't. I'm no. I can dig it, sucker. I will be. I'll power through. And that's the bottom line, because notorious BOF said so.
Ooh.
Am catchphrasing.
I was gonna say, you are the true people's champ.
I
Sticking it
am,
out
because I'm
for
here
the
for you.
people.
I'm here for you. I'm here for the people, the millions and millions of fans all around the world.
You are an international podcast superstar.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, this is what I was put on Earth to do.
I agree with you. There's nobody better in the business. Nobody.
Nope, nobody. I am the excellent of execution as far as podcast goes.
I agreed 100%.
Yeah, let's see how many other catchphrase puns we can work on tonight and work them into this podcast.
I'm sure, knowing us, there'll be plenty.
Yeah, and this isn't even and this isn't even a catchphrase episode. So.
I know. It's
And look, the episode hasn't even started, and it's already off the rails. Boom.
It wouldn't be rolling heavy without us going off the rails.
That's how Rolling Heavy goes.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's kind of happened over the last few weeks in the WWE universe. We just had Backlash on Saturday last week. Pretty small card, only 5 matches total. But
it was a pretty small card, and I'm obviously they're just really a couple weeks out of WrestleMania, so kind
yeah,
of seemed like a Wish version of a pay-per-view event. Not gonna lie.
well, I mean, they had to capitalize. Cody needed his first televised title defense. And then you had the Damian Priest and Judgment Day storyline going on.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's what Raw and SmackDown are for. Let's build a storyline for maybe 30 days, and then go into the next pay-per-view with at least something to talk about. Like, well, I know we're going to talk about Backlash, but there wasn't any surprises. Let's just say that.
No, and I don't think anybody was expecting any surprises. I personally put Jey Uso over Damian Priest as a wishful thinking. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but a guy can dream.
Yeah, I was hoping so too. Honestly, I think the first singles title that Jey Uso will hold is probably the U.S. title. I don't think his first singles title is going to be the World Championship.
So, do you think he takes the U.S. title and then ends up back in SmackDown with the Bloodline?
No, no, or maybe he takes it. What is he? He's Raw, right?
Yeah. He was
Or
their
is it?
number one draft pick.
Yeah, I get that. But so what's? I mean, is it the IC title that's on Raw? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's too many. There's too many damn
too,
titles.
it'd be the IC title, which is
I think he takes the
Sami
IC.
Zayn
Well,
right now.
see that's tough because they're running the Sami Zayn, Chad Gable storyline there.
Yeah, I feel like that's super forced.
That's that. First off, The start. That's a Rocky story.
I mean,
This is when Chad Gable and Sami Zayn fight. Let's be honest, it's Rocky Creed, Apollo Creed. That's the fight, right?
I mean, kinda.
Look at the storyline. It's like, Chad Gable was his trainer and letting him find himself and blah blah blah. It's a Rocky story, minus the Eye of the Tiger. It's a Rocky story.
That's fair enough.
It's the Rocky story, and then they're gonna fight, and Rock beat Apollo, so Sami Zayn is gonna beat Chad Gable
Again?
and
So
yeah.
Is this like a Rocky 3 scenario? I don't know.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. So the next fight, Chad Zayn, right? He's the new IC title. Oh, amazing! Never saw that coming. And then it's gonna be the rubber match. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable. Sami Zayn wins. Everybody loves it. Oh yay! And then somehow, some way, Jey Uso is worked into that storyline. I don't see Jey Uso taking the title from Damian Priest.
Maybe King of the Ring? He was the mystery takeover for
I guess
Drew
unless he wins.
McIntyre.
Shot. Ooh, didn't see that coming.
Right?
Fight Finn Balor. Whoa, that was from left field. You totally. Whoa, yeah, didn't see that coming. WWE, good job, story creators. Let's talk about that at a different time. We're supposed to talk about Backlash right now.
Yeah.
This is a 3-hour conversation we're starting.
We're already going off the rails, and we haven't even gotten to our topic.
This is a 3-hour conversation. If Jey Uso wins, this is what I'm going to say. When I just say we're going to get back on track, and then I'm going to take us off track again. If Jey Uso wins King of the Ring, I think if he doesn't, because now it will be the second time he fights Damian Priest. And obviously the Judgment Day got involved in the first fight, which, shocker. If he loses this fight, I don't think he gets another title shot. Unless he wins Royal Rumble.
Okay. You think they do Jay dirty like that? Because I don't know. They spent a number 1 draft pick on him.
Look at what they did on Kofi. Look at what they did on Kofi Kingston. They didn't give that dude a title for 11 years.
I guess, that's fair, but I feel like with Cody leaving, it's really, you've got Priest, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. Like, those are your big name guys for Raw right now. I don't know. I hope they don't do him dirty. Jay right now, I finally caught up with all the Raws and SmackDowns up to current. So Jey Uso is currently my favorite Raw superstar.
Look at what they did for look what they did with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, right? That was like a 2-year storyline, right? They basically fought back-to-back WrestleManias, right? And Cody won the second one because the Bloodline didn't get involved.
Right. Well,
right.
The Bloodline did get involved.
But then every other person, it was, let's just see who we can pull out of the hat to make an appearance. It was that fight was a Marvel Universe fight because it was like cameos of everybody. I expected to see Stan Lee show up at one point in time. I thought he was going to be the actual ref, and then when it came over, he was going to Scooby-Doo and rip off his mask, and it was Stan Lee. I'm like, I knew he was still alive. Like, that's what that was. That was a cameo fight, honestly. It was a good fight, but it was a cameo fight. It got a little out of control. But, again, that was a 2-year storyline. Maybe they can run that 2-year storyline with the Judgment Day and Jey Uso. But Jey Uso's not going to be able to maintain that storyline by himself.
No.
So who joins Jey Uso?
I have some ideas. We shouldn't go into it now because we will be here for another 4 hours before we even start. Start talking
Stop
about what
taking
we
us
want
off.
to talk about.
Stop taking us off track, Big D. I mean, gosh.
That's what I do. It's what I do. It's kind of just what we do.
I know.
Um, so I mean,
That's meat and potatoes of this one now.
yeah. Um, but Backlash. I mean, overall the matches were pretty good. I really enjoyed RKO versus the Bloodline. Um, I thought it was really entertaining. I'm a big fan of Kevin Owens.
I do like Kevin Owens.
In his whole thing. So I thought it was very well done. And then to have I want to say Camacho, but what is it?
Camacho? What?
Tonga
Who are you?
Tongaloa comes back and it was in Backlash. Well, I can't. Is it Tongaloa?
It's Tongaloa.
Yeah, he was Camacho. Um, several years ago.
I didn't know he was Camacho.
Yes, he was Camacho.
Okay.
So Tongaloa comes back, and it was kind of the the big return of him to the WWE, which I mean was fitting at that point.
And again, shocker, the Bloodline. When are we gonna get rid of the Bloodline? Like, seriously?
I don't mind the Bloodline, but I would just like to see a few more clean wins. There are so many factions that there are just no clean wins anymore.
No, it's. I mean, this is like the faction. This is the faction best friend era. Like, you're either in a faction or you're best friends with the person you're fighting.
Yep. What else did we have on the card? So that I really enjoyed that one.
I mean, I thought it was a great fight. I mean, not surprised that it turned into an all-out street fight. Obviously with the couple of weeks leading up to Backlash and this match. Basically Kevin Owens gets hit by a car by Amatonga, and then it's like, oh, and then they're fighting everybody, and then they're dropping stunners on security.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, here's the thing. Just beat the hell out of each other, and then whoever wins, and let's call it good. I don't think that story is done, though.
I don't think so either. I think there's something there. I mean, with Randy Orton being freshly back and Kevin Owens, I think there's something there. I don't know if there'll be it'll be an RKO tag team for a bit, but I thought they played well together. I really liked it, enjoyed it a lot.
I think I think RKO will be a great tag team, not only in the ring, out of the ring, just because Kevin Owens kind of a smartass.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton is so serious that I think that's going to be a great. It's kind of like Shawn Michaels Triple H turn, type of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Triple H was a little. I mean, he got to the point where he's a little bit more of a smartass, but at the beginning there was, Triple H was pretty serious, and then Shawn Michaels was, not at all.
Yeah.
I think I can see that with RKO. I really hope RKO sticks around for a while because I think that'd be a great tag team.
I do too. I really enjoyed them. I thought it was a fun match. I thought they put on a good show. It was entertaining.
Yep, for sure.
And then we had EST and Jade Cargill versus the Kabuki Warriors. Honestly, I thought it was wrestled very poorly. I wasn't surprised by who won, but I wasn't impressed.
Definitely not surprised by who won. I wonder if there's a little bit of a language barrier, maybe trying to get moves down between the Kabuki Warriors and obviously like EST and Jade Cargill, just because never really heard the Kabuki Warriors really speak English very well at all. So I wonder, when they're trying to get kind of move sets kind of set up for their next little go around, if it's kind of hard to get that kind of cemented if there's a language barrier. But I did. It did seem a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, it was,
and especially for how long the Kabuki Warriors have been in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed like they were missing on some of the moves.
Yeah, I think the sequences were really complicated. There was the one big sequence at the end of the match with the whole reverse Alabama slammer to the suplex into Jade's finishing move. Like that was cool, um, but I felt like it was just executed poorly.
Yeah,
Like the strength of EST and Jade Cargill, amazing. Like those two are animals, but
absolutely.
I think Jade just needs a little more work in the ring. Like this was her third WWE match.
Yeah, she's from NXT, right? She just came over from
Yeah,
NXT not too
so
long.
she's still pretty fresh, and
Yeah,
so I think that might be part of it. The Kabuki Warriors, I know I've seen Asuka wrestle in singles a couple of times, and she's put on some good shows. So I think there's maybe less of a language barrier. I just think that was maybe too much and too complicated of a set to throw at Jade right away.
yeah, and a lot of times, and you see it a lot of times too. Even like in kind of seasoned on the men's roster, when you have someone is very much a high flyer, i.e., the Kabuki Warriors,
Yep.
and someone that's more straight power, obviously EST and Jade Cargill. Some of those kind of sequences get a little bit sloppy just because I'm a high flyer, so I do these things, and I'm just a big strong guy, so I can't really move as fast as you. So some of it does get even on a seasoned like men's
Yeah.
roster, it does get a little bit sloppy. I just think there was maybe they were I think they were trying to really maybe they were going for a still the show episode match,
Yeah.
and
Maybe.
I think it got out of control for them.
Yeah.
My
I think if they hit the move sequences that they had planned clean, it would have been the match of the night.
for sure.
Um, but it wasn't. There was I don't know. It was just sloppy.
Yeah,
And then let's see who else did we have? We had the triple
the
threat
triple threat:
with
Bailey, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton.
yeah. That was, I mean, it was decent. Um,
Hmm.
I'm actually surprised that Bailey still won. Um,
Yeah,
I that was one of the ones, even though she had just freshly won the title, I did think it was maybe up for grabs. Especially with damage control being in the building, thought there could have been some of that going on with her recently getting kicked out.
I think Damage Control was more concerned about the Kabuki Warriors maintaining the tag team titles than Bailey. But I mean, I can see where that would come from, though.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, it was entertaining. It wasn't anything to write home about. But
No,
I'm glad
no.
Bailey won. I'm a Bailey fan at this point. She's probably my favorite on the women's roster right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's good. Um, I think Tiffany Stratton's gonna be something. I see Tiffany Stratton not. I see her kind of in the same lane as Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
Um, Super strong,
Yep.
yet has can do some of those kind of bigger, kind of high risk moves. I don't like her. I don't like her gimmick, the Tiffany time thing.
Oh god, I
Not a
hate
huge
Tiffy
fan.
time. Oh my god.
Not a huge fan of that. But I think that I think that she can. I compare her to Charlotte Flair. To Charlotte Flair, what Charlotte Flair was able to do, I compare her to what Tiffany Stratton can do.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think there's a lot of interesting things going on with the women's roster right now, with Rhea being out and Bailey just
Hmm.
taking over, and spoiler alert if nobody's caught up, um, with the man taking the battle royale to win
Yeah,
Rhea's title. So there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of storylines that are going on right now. It'll be interesting to see how things play out when Rhea comes back. But um,
it'll
overall,
be. I don't think she shows up until after King of the Ring.
No, I think she's going to be out for a few months, so I think there's some time for some other storylines to develop.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think she's quote unquote hurt. I think it's like, hey, I just want some time off. Been on
I,
the road for been on some road. I've been on the road for the last 2 years. I need to go home for a little while, which is understandable.
yeah,
And the best way to send someone home is to get them injured, right?
yeah, that's fair. But I did see the clip of where they're showing her injured. She hurt her shoulder by getting shoved into the wall, and it looks like she hit it pretty hard. Um, had a very similar injury that I did, falling into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So
I,
I think there might be
I
some
mean,
legitimacy to it.
no, I don't, and maybe there is, but I mean, you know, she lost the title. She's out. She's not. She's out right now. Roman Reigns lost the title. He's out right now. Right?
Yep.
It's like almost like go take some time. Go take some time. You guys did your thing. We're gonna build up some other. We're gonna push a couple other people, and then when you come back, we're gonna fit you in right here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And then I think we've covered everything except Cody Rhodes,
We
AJ
didn't do the Damian
Styles.
Priest.
Yeah, well, we talked about it at the very beginning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Damian Priest thing.
Yep. Um,
Cody
yeah,
Rhodes, AJ
AJ
Styles.
Styles. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
Wasn't surprising. AJ did his moves. Cody did his moves. Cody
Yep.
wins. Crowd goes crazy.
Yep. No shocker that Cody Rhodes didn't win, or that Cody Rhodes won.
No, I mean, and it was a decent match. I mean, they put on a good show.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of AJ Styles, but man, that dude's an athlete. Like he can really do some stuff.
He can. I saw him when he first came in. As the phenomenal. Like he can do some things. Like he's pretty amazing. That's why he's called the phenomenal one.
It's true.
Yeah, he can do some things. But honestly, all in all, my kind of opinion on Backlash is this was kind of maybe a non-televised event that just made it to pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, it was a foil for new champions to have their first title defenses in on a big stage.
Yeah, it wasn't
wasn't anything crazy, but
no.
I don't expect much. Just a month after WrestleMania. Overall, had some entertaining matches. I'd give it maybe a 3 out of 5. It was okay. Like it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
predictable.
I mean, it was. I mean, I would say yeah. I'll give it a 3, maybe 3.5. It was one that I watched in 2 days. Like I wasn't super. I'm like, ooh, I gotta go see this match. It's like, you know what? I'll watch it till I get tired, and then I will finish the rest tomorrow. It wasn't like there were things that I wanted to happen, and maybe see that would be, as far as
Yeah.
like storyline, like enhancing storylines or creating new storylines. But with it being 2 weeks outside of WrestleMania, there hasn't been any chance for any storylines to kind of blossom. So it was really just here you go. Here's big names.
Yep.
You're gonna come and see some big names in the match, in the ring, and that's what you get to do. That's what Backlash was. Here's some names that are gonna wrestle for you. Cool, right? In
Yep.
France, which we haven't been here very often. So awesome.
Yep, and it was a good show. Like so, I mean, I can't say anything bad about it. It was short, some good matches, and I enjoyed it for what it was, and I didn't expect much, and it delivered on not giving me much.
I didn't have to pay for it. Like if I paid for it and then I watched it, I might be a little upset.
Agreed.
Paid $70 for this thing, which is what UPS or which pay-per-views used to be. In case you didn't know, if you're depending on when you were born,
Yeah.
Before streaming services. But it was free, so it's it was good free entertainment.
Yep.
I'll give it that.
Yep. Hey, and I mean, if you're like us, you could watch the scrambled version and still get the audio and know what happens.
Yep, we're still talking about WWE, not Naked, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
there was that too.
Okay.
But
Yes.
you gotta stay up late enough at night.
Yes, you gotta stay up way late.
All right, so that was Backlash, and now we're into our topic of the night, which is best gimmick, singles. So we're not talking tag teams, no outsiders, no road warriors, none of that. We're talking singles
No fact.
gimmicks.
Yep. Single gimmicks, not fashion, not factions, and yada yada yadas.
Yep, and there was really no criteria for us to decide. It was just what do we feel like was the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my list, and I very, very heavily have an age bias.
You are very much a kind of attitude era.
I mean, that's what I came up with was the Attitude Era. So
Yeah,
that's where my heart is.
I I I'm 3 of 5 I'm 3 of 5 as far as attitude era. But actually I think our number ones are the same. And I don't think that that's just pure that's not just an era thing.
No, it's not. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's like and that's why it's number one because it's not just in this era it's amazing.
Yeah.
It was that one is that's the best of all time.
I mean,
No ifs, ands, or buts.
you can't even say arguably.
Nope.
It's not even arguably the best. It is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, no question, it is the best. But
It is the best.
we're not to number one yet.
We're at number 5.
Um,
You go ahead and start.
I'll get us
You start
started.
number 5.
I have Mankind, number 5, Mankind, and I really could put any or all of the Mick Foley personas, but with this one, I'm specifically speaking to Mr. Sacco, Mankind, and not early emo Mandible Claw. Yeah, like
You're have a nice day, Mankind.
exactly.
Not Boiler Room Mankind.
Yes, have a nice day. He's out there with the shirt and the tie. He's working for Mr. McMahon and having a great time. He finally wins his title. And it was Mick Foley being able to be Mick Foley, but as Mankind.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that one.
Yeah. It was great, but I also love. I mean, I love Cactus Jack. I loved. I didn't love Dude Love. I wouldn't put Dude Love on there, but just Mick Foley, who's not really a gimmick, but Cactus Jack, Mankind, for sure. But the Have a Nice Day, Mankind, number 5 on my list. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and one of my favorite gimmicks of all time.
Absolutely. I don't have any Mick Foley. I did have a Mick Foley on my list, but I'm like I Mick Foley too much. Like
I was surprised that he wasn't like higher on your list. I was really surprised that he didn't make it.
He had made it at one point in time, but I'm like I can't. I mean, because I had him. Actually, I think I had him on both of my lists last time we talked. I had him on the best, and I had him on the worst.
You did.
So I'm like, I can't, because I couldn't just say Mankind, because then I would need to be like, Cactus Jack. It'd be, it's just Mick Foley, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't do Mick Foley justice by putting him on my list. So I had to.
So he's transcended your list, essentially.
He is. He's just you see the signs. Foley is God. He is God. I pray to Mick Foley.
There you go. Fair enough.
I'm a Foley. That's I Have a Nice Day is my Bible.
Very well.
So
praise to
and
you,
there is
Lord Foley.
Praise to the Mick Foley. How would be thy name? And there is no dogma, in the Folium that I just made up, so I couldn't put him on my list.
Fair enough. I mean, that's
because that would be worshiping him, and we do not worship. So that's why he's not on my list.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It was a religious decision.
All right. So who is on your list? Who do we got at number
So
5?
who is on my list? Number 5, I put the bad guy,
Okay.
Razor Ramon, the guy oozing machismo,
Hey
which
yo.
sounds like he like get that checked out, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
Is that why you're so greasy? Is that what machismo is?
I guess.
Maybe I don't want to be oozing machismo if I look so greasy because that seems gross. You look slippery. That's what you do. But I think that his not so much Razor Ramon, like because he wasn't the bad guy when he first came out, right? He was Razor
It was
Ramon.
just Razor Ramon, and then it kind of
Then he
turned to the bad
then he
guy.
kind of found his rhythm, and then he got the what is it the toothpick and the
Yep.
flicking it. Then he was the bad guy, and I'm like that's the dude.
Yeah. Once
I
once he got into it a bit, and then he got to cut a couple of pretty good promos, and like he just kind of carried that. I think that was kind of who Scott Hall was a little bit. Just
for sure.
maybe a caricature of who he was as a person.
Well, and that's what they say, right? The character that you bring to the WWE has to be at some level is part of you, or else you're not gonna. No one's gonna believe that's your gimmick.
Right.
No one's gonna believe that. Like if Razor Ramon was like, could you believe Razor Ramon joined Right to Censor? Would you ever believe that?
No. God no.
Yeah, God no. So, but if that's who Razor Ramon truly was on the inside, he wouldn't be able to pull off the bad guy.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I think, and if you ever see some documentaries about him, which I highly suggest you do, he, the bad guy, he is 100%. Well, not 100%, but the bad guy is definitely inside him.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen a lot of stuff about Scott Hall. Um, I don't think he was a bad guy, but
He could.
he had his demons. Like we
He
can
had
say
his
that.
demons. Well, and honestly, look, you have to have that alpha male mentality to even become a superstar of the WWE, right?
Right.
He just amped his up a little bit and was probably a little more arrogant than other people.
Yeah.
And that's what Razor Ramon was. He was a bad guy just because he was on a different level of arrogancy.
I mean,
If that's if that's a word. I believe it's a word.
I mean, and right now, I mean, even now, like, hey yo, somebody comes on the
Hey
mic and
yo.
is like, hey yo, like the crowd's gonna go nuts. Like it's iconic. Like he
Here's
had
a
the iconic catchphrase,
here
and all it was is hey yo.
here's a little story. All about how. Just kidding.
I was waiting.
My life got flipped, turned upside down. Not kidding. I'm not Will Smith, and this isn't summertime.
Please don't slap me.
Ah,
I promise I
keep my
won't talk about your wife.
oh, yeah, you keep her name out of your mouth. Um, so I have a little daughter, and when she first started talking, the I, with no coaching or anything, the first words out of her mouth were "Ayo."
Okay.
Hey yo, this. I'm like, damn, Racer. So I called her Razor for probably a year of her life. And even still, she'll be like, hey yo. I'm like, I feel you. I'm like, don't be using anything, but what's up? What's up, Razor?
I like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna have to start maybe getting her a Jerry curl or something.
All right. Number 4. Who you got?
Number 4. I'm up.
Yep.
Number 4 for me is Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
I think she's to me right now. She is the top women's on the women's roster.
Oh,
Honestly, I think combine the rosters. I think she's top 2 after Cody Rhodes. I think she's one of the biggest WWE draws right now.
Oh, 100%. I think she's far and away the most popular, and in my personal opinion, best on the women's roster right now.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I was a huge fan of China. Like I was a huge fan. I just not only was she like physically gifted,
Yep.
and with what she could do, she really the reason why we have a women's division now are for things like her and like Jackie. Um, they laid down that groundwork
Yep.
for us to actually have a women's division, and it would be such a fantasy match to have a Rhea Ripley China match. That's a main event match right there.
Oh, 100%.
But like you watch Rhea Ripley, she lives that Rhea Ripley is that character.
She is mommy.
She is I remember when she beat Becky Lynch, and she's like she's biting. I'm like, oh my god, you are you are 100% that character. That's like you don't do. That's not something that you think to do. That's just something that you do. You are that character, and I love you for it. Please keep it up.
Yeah, I have nothing more to say. I agree. Like she is that star. Like that is her, and she embodies that persona so well.
I wish she could get away from the Judgment Day.
I mean, cracks are forming.
Yeah, she doesn't need the judge. Obviously, Judgment Day needs Rhea Ripley. She does not need Judgment Day.
No.
Maybe at first, but now, absolutely not.
Oh God, no, she doesn't need them at all.
No.
She is who she is, and she is the Judgment Day.
She is mommy. She is the Eradicator.
Yep.
They call her she is the Eradicator. Like she doesn't need Judgment Day. And what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Like Ben Baylor, Dirty Dom and JD, whatever. If they jump into the women's roster, they're gonna get their asses kicked anyway.
It's I mean, the Judgment Day is a bunch of mid carders, and then you have an awesome person. He almost made my list as Damian Priest.
I like Damian Priest.
I do a lot, and if the Judgment Day breaks up, I see a big face turn coming for him.
Yep.
But besides, Damian and Rhea, it's a group of mid carders at best.
You have your tag team, right? You have your Finn Balor, JD tag team, right? Yep. They're a tag team. Let's be honest, and not even a very good one at that.
No, like I said, they're mid carders.
Yeah, and then you have Dirty Dom, who Dirty Dom is the legacy, and that is in there. What story are you going to have with Dirty Dom other than the Rey Mysterio storyline? And that's been played out 2 or 3 times. It's done.
Yeah, no,
that storyline is done. The only reason the Dom is in the WWE is because he's part of Judgment Day, and he's a legacy, right? He's one of the royal fam. He's part of the royal family. Like, I don't know. Like I can't see a storyline. I can't see a storyline that's centered around Dominic that is gonna capture me enough that I want to tune in to that every week.
Understandable. And I don't feel any different.
Yeah.
All right, I'm making a last minute audible for my number 4.
Whoa.
Yep.
Nope, it's already written down.
I'm changing up my list here.
In stone. It is in stone.
I'm making a last minute audible here.
All right.
Number 4, I'm putting in Hollywood Hogan.
Really?
Yes.
Bumping him on, huh?
I have him in my honorable mention list, but I'm moving him up to number 4.
Okay.
And specifically Hollywood Hogan, not the Hulkster, not from all that before. Hollywood Hogan for like NWO, like The dude was
But him,
so good at being a heel that he was still a face.
yep.
I mean,
Well, I think the NWO was a face. Let's be honest.
it was a heel that was a face.
Yeah. Well, and that's the Attitude Era, right?
They were full of bad guys, but the bad guys were the good guys.
Yeah.
Um,
But that defines the Attitude Era.
yes, it totally does.
Look at Stone Cold. He wasn't a face.
No, but he wasn't a heel. He was a rage against, I hate my boss and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want and drink beer and flip people off.
Yeah.
He was the anti-authority figure.
He was the anti-authority figure.
But Hogan pulled it off so well, and with the supporting cast of the NWO, like it just, I feel like it put a nice pretty bow on it. Like once he joined the Outsiders, like that was the group. And Hollywood Hogan was like the star. Not to say that, you know, Nash and Hall weren't stars, but I mean, as much as I love those guys, they're not Hogan.
Well, and nobody's Hogan, right? And to make the Outsiders into the NWO, right?
Right.
During that tag match, right? Because nobody knew. Even Scott Hall and Kevin Nash did not know who their third person was going to be in that 3-man tag match, right? Against Lex Luthor,
Luger,
Lex Luger, Macho Man, and
Sting,
I can't remember.
Right?
Sting? Was it Sting?
I'm pretty sure it was Sting.
Right. So it was them three against the Outsiders and this mystery person, right? And then even the match starts and they get to it and he still hasn't showed up, and then Macho Man is kind of taking a beat down from the Outsiders. Then here comes Hogan, and everybody thinks, Hogan is here to save the Macho Man, and boom, drops the leg.
Yep. And then the Outsiders like, oh my god, and
Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are like, oh shit, I guess that's our guy. Awesome.
Yeah, like it was one of those iconic moments where you're like, oh my god, like he's really going this way. He's betraying. He's not the good guy. Macho Man's his best friend.
The best face to heel turn ever.
I think that's up there for sure. I don't know if I'd put it as the best, but it's definitely up there.
I will stand behind that all day. Dude, this is Hogan. This is Hogan.
I know. I know.
Take your vitamins. You know, be good. Everything is wonderful and nice. And now he's a bad guy. Now, that's like taking Superman and making him, evil Superman.
Bizarro Superman?
Bizarro. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Bizarro Superman.
I mean, and he played it so well. And
I
think, since things have come out about Hogan, is probably not a good guy.
Not so much.
But, I mean, yeah, he played it so well. I remember how much the crowd hated him when it first happened. He throwing all kinds of crap in the ring.
That ring was full of garbage. And then the trash that the people threw in, too.
Yeah, just the outrage. Oh, and he did it so well.
And he lived on it, and he fed into it.
Yep. And then what was it? WrestleMania 18, Rock versus Hogan.
Yep.
I mean, that was kind of the culmination of Hollywood Hogan. Essentially, it was the icon versus icon. And WrestleMania 18 wasn't great, but that match, fantastic.
And it's like, here's the torch, kid.
Pretty much.
Yep, here's the torch. Take it.
And that wasn't the main event, which I was flabbergasted by. I didn't even watch the main event. I can't remember what it was.
Well, there wasn't a title match, right?
No, I mean, it was just dumb.
WrestleMania's main event at WrestleMania is always a title match, so.
But yeah, so Hollywood Hogan, number 4.
I feel you. Jump up to your number 3.
You
throwing another audible?
No. I'm moving stuff around still, but number 3, I have Sting. and specifically the black and white emo Sting.
The icon.
Yes, not Surfer Sting. I've got the icon Sting.
Not the the 80s neon,
Nope.
like bleach blonde flat top Sting.
Nope. Long dark hair, the black and white face paint.
Coming from the rafters Sting.
Yep, that guy. He was the perfect, I guess, story unknown for the whole NWO thing, because once Hogan turned heel, Sting just kind of went missing. Like, or
sure,
like he disappeared.
Yep.
And then after a month or two, like he shows back up in the rafters, and I'll never forget like the end of Nitro, and it's like, it's Sting,
Yep.
but he's up in the rafters with the scorpion shirt and the black and white paint and the black trench coat for sure. He was the perfect unknown. I was like, what is he gonna be to the NWO?
Yep.
Didn't have to say anything. He didn't cut any promos. It was just like,
nope, it's Sting.
He was just this mystery. Who is this guy?
Well, we know who he is.
Yes.
But what's he doing here?
Exactly. Like what's going on? What are his motives?
What's his purpose right now?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel you.
So I thought if there wasn't that storyline going on at the time, he probably wouldn't make my list. But for what he was to WCW at that time, it was perfect. And
he was the catalyst. He was the catalyst to what? To the NWO.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise,
right?
Yeah, otherwise I think this, the Sting character is cool, but like this one being this mysterious figure and everything, I thought was very well played and was perfect for the era and everything that was going on. So that's why he's on my list.
Well, and I think too that added to the NWO thing, because you can't have a story with just a yin.
Right.
You need a yin and a yang. And the NWO are great and they're cool and they're coming around and they're coming out and they're making a mess and they're doing their NWO thing, but cool, but that's gonna get old real quick. Unless there's a catalyst to maybe like, to be kind of to stop them, to be the like, yeah, this isn't cool type of thing.
Yeah, well, and he had this edge to him. Like it was like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna take care of business, I'm not gonna say anything. There's no woos or anything like that. It's just,
nope.
I'm here. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna kick some ass and leave.
I'm here to take care of shit.
Yep.
That's what I'm here to do. And I'll tell you, like the black and white Sting, like I was a little bit afraid of him. Not gonna lie. Like I'm like that. I think that dude's probably killed a person or two.
He's seen some stuff.
Yeah, that guy. You know what? He has things that he can't forget.
It's very true. All right, who you got? Number 3.
Number 3 is the beer swigging Texas Rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's only number 3.
He bounced between 3 and 2 quite a bit, but I think the total. I think what I have for number 2. I think the complete book of work for number 2 is slightly better than what Stone Cold is. What Stone Cold was.
Oh,
and he was my favorite guy.
That's I don't know.
And he was my favorite. And Stone Cold was my guy all through the Attitude Era. Like that's the dude that I tuned into WWE for, and not Goldberg on WCW. Because Goldberg was a one-trick pony. Let's be honest.
Yep.
I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna jackhammer someone in like 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna go back. That was Goldberg. Cool. And I'm gonna win 170 something matches in a row. Awesome. Like it's a one-trick pony. And I would never say that to his face. But Stone Cold, the things that Stone Cold did for the Attitude Era was that's what made the Attitude Era. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But but
He was
he
the
only
attitude.
he only had one. But really, he only had one storyline.
But it was a really, really good storyline.
It was a really good storyline. But it was the same storyline. Really, what you turned in while you watched WWE over WCW was what crazy shit is Stone Cold gonna do today? Oh, he's coming out. He's coming out in a beer truck, or now he's in a gazebo or a Zamboni, and oh, he just filled Vince's car full of Corvette full of concrete, and oh, now he's in the hospital. And he's gonna beat him over the head with a bedpan. You know?
Yeah. And it was so
But
good. That
it
went
was a
on
good.
for like 2 years.
It was a good storyline, yes, but and he pulled it off well.
And at the end of
Like,
it, he wins the title from The Rock at WrestleMania 17, and he shakes Vince McMahon's hand because he helped him win. Like, it was the ultimate, like, what the hell happened?
yeah, that I didn't. That one I was. That I didn't like. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You don't shake that dude's hand.
No, like, you've been fighting with him for 2 years, and you're
Yeah.
really going to do this right now?
And the Rock story was. I mean, the Rock Stone Cold storyline was good, but it was kind of like a side quest to the Vince McMahon Stone Cold story. They couldn't just keep going Stone and Vince, Stone Cold and Vince, Stone Cold and Vince. They brought Mike Tyson in at one point in time, and then they brought in Rock to be. What was he part of? Was he part of the Authority?
The Rock?
Or was that after was the Authority after?
I think it was after.
But then they brought in Rock, to run the Stone Cold, to be part of the Stone Cold storyline. And Stone Cold, I mean, even today, I even said it earlier, that's the bottom line.
Yeah. He got hurt because Owen Hart actually pile drived him.
Yeah,
so he had to have neck surgery, and they needed the next guy, and The Rock was the next guy, and so Rock had his meteoric rise, and then Stone Cold recovers, and then like it was the crescendo of those two, with Stone Cold having this big turn at the end. Like it was done so good.
Yeah, he made the Attitude Era for sure, and that's why he's on my list at number 3.
Fair enough.
And I agree. When we talk about it, my number 2 is me having number 2 over number 3 is controversial, but we'll talk about it.
We'll get to that in a second.
Total book of work.
Yep.
But let's talk. I think we're at your number 2 right now.
Yep. My number 2 is Stone Cold. This is my audible here. I originally had Razor at number 2, but talking about it, and I have Hogan sitting here on my outside list. I'm like, nah, he needs to be on the list. And Razor eventually it just got bumped down
to number 6.
To number 6. But Stone Cold, I mean, we don't need to talk about him anymore because we just talked about it all. He was the Attitude Era. He defined that whole era, even with all the DX shenanigans going on and everything. Like, it was him. And you have, that's the bottom line. And Austin 316 said, "I just kicked your ass." I know you had an Austin 316 shirt. I had an Austin 316 shirt. I know I had a shirt that said, "Open a can of whoop ass."
I went to Mexico right after I graduated high school, forever and 3 years ago. And Tijuana. We went to Went to San Diego with some friends. Then we went over to Tijuana, and at one of the little kind of booths, they would make a ring for you. I had them make me a 316 ring.
And he's
That's how much I would.
only your number 3.
He is my number 3.
Huh. I'm not over this.
We're gonna come to blows over this one.
No, because we're both broken.
Yeah, that's true. Or
we're gonna try to do something, and my shoulder's gonna tear, and your knee's gonna go out.
we're gonna throw spitwads at each other and be like, yeah, well, Stone Cold's better than so's and so's.
I wouldn't even trust us to pillow fight at this point.
I'm gonna join the pillow fighting championship.
Until somebody hits you in the knee, and then you're down for the count.
Well, then don't hit me in the knee. I'll wear a brace. But spoiler alert: my name in the pillow fighting championship, Love Sack.
Perfect name. I would expect no less than you from you.
Yep, coming out, Love Sack. And I might come out to the B-52 song, Love Shack.
Hey, whatever you got to do.
Yep, that's my version of my WWE dream right there, is being a world champion, pillow fighting champion.
There you go.
Yep.
I mean, we practiced a lot as kids, so
Yeah,
it's not like you're inexperienced here.
I think I could do pretty well. I can take a punch.
If you can take a punch, you can take a pillow.
Yeah. That's not a wrench. I'll be fine.
All right. Who is your controversial number 2?
The person I put over Stone Cold is the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns.
All right. You got to explain. I don't get it. Like, Roman's is great, and he's a cool character, but I don't think he's a top 5 guy.
You look at so you have him in the Shield, right? Shield is that faction pretty amazing, and let's be honest, like the 3 dudes that were in the Shield did pretty well for themselves after the Shield broke up.
They did.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose, Seth freaking Rollins, and Roman Reigns.
I mean, Seth made your worst list last time.
Just his entrance, yeah. I think he's great in the ring. I just wish he would just show up in the ring and not walk down there with all the garbage that he does.
Fair enough.
Just show up in the ring. Just walk to the ring. Just get the job done. Hurry up. Remember how fast you got to the ring when you were cashing in the Money in the Bank? Do that every time, Seth. Do that every time. Best entrance ever if you do that every time. Number 1. But Roman Reigns, look, I mean, the dude was champion for like 5,061 days or something like that.
Yep.
Like, and storylines with Brock Lesnar and then Cody Rhodes, and I'm sure I'm missing some because I didn't go very back far. I kind of jumped off, but I'm not a Roman Reigns fan. I'm pointing that out right now. I think that the WWE maybe got a little lazy with his storyline, and that's why he was champion for so long. But then you have, people like Bob Backlund that were champion for, 2.5 years. So it's like, is there just maybe there wasn't maybe a little bit lazy and maybe not pushing someone to kind of be the next to take the mantle away from him, right?
Sure.
But I just think the progression of Roman Reigns and then the bloodline and then moving to the tribal chief and then and then head of the table and then tribal chief. That gimmick worked for what it was, and that was to make people hate him.
I mean, I guess
that's
fair. That's fair.
And just to wish that he just gets that he just loses. And here's the thing: the Cody Rhodes finished the story championship doesn't carry as much weight without it being against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I get that. Do you think it was this huge build up to Cody winning?
No, I think that's just kind of like, I think that was the natural progression, right? They were just going to they were going to throw things into the fire and see what actually caught fire and which fizzled out. The Cody Rhodes story fizzled out because, and I don't think the Cody Rhodes story goes anywhere without his dad being Dusty Rhodes.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of what it's all based on, right? He's
Right?
finishing the story of the Rhodes family.
You're not finishing the Cody Rhodes story. You're finishing the Dusty Rhodes story, is what you're doing.
He's completing the legacy, right?
Yeah. The Rhodes have never, there's been 3 Rhodes, Dusty, Dustin, Cody, never held a world title. And now you're finishing the Rhodes story of the royal families that are in the WWE, the Mysterios, the Wyndhams, the Rhodes, they've never held a title. They're the only ones that have never held a title. We need to complete that story. So, and who better to complete the story against the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, who has been the guy for the last 3+ years. That's a giant mountain to climb.
Who you lost to already once at a WrestleMania.
You didn't lose to Roman Reigns. That's where the bloodline comes in, and that's where I get a little bit heated. You lost to Solo. Solo beat you, not Roman Reigns beat you.
Well, Solo saved so many matches for Roman.
This is why. Let's have a.
We'll talk about factions one day.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about factions. That makes me so much. My words get all jumbled up, and I just sound like I'm throwing up over the mic. But yeah, like I watched that. Because there's a lady I used to work with, and she was super into it, and she was a giant Cody Rhodes fan, the American Nightmare, and I really didn't even I wasn't watching wrestling very much. I had no idea who the American Rhodes was or the American Dream was. Oh yeah, he's Dusty Rhodes' kid. I'm like, oh, I liked the American Dream. Why is the American Nightmare? American Nightmare because it was American Dream. Okay, I can see that.
That makes sense.
He was Stardust. He's Goldust's brother, which is a blah. Cool. I can see why Goldust never won a championship. Okay, I like this guy. And then I actually watched that WrestleMania, and then I'm like, so angry, not really knowing the full backstory, so angry. And here's the thing: this is how you know you got a good heel, is when you can maybe watch 2 matches, and when that guy does something to beat the guy that you're rooting for, lose, and you get actual anger in you.
You get mad. Yeah.
You get mad.
You off.
That's a good gimmick, my friend. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're sparking those emotions in those people that are watching you, and that's your job as a heel. Is when you win, they get pissed off.
Now, was Roman the heel or was it Solo?
Roman was the heel. The Bloodline was the heel. The whole thing is the heel.
But we're talking individuals, right?
In that match, absolutely Roman Reigns was a heel because he's the tribal chief, and he's going to make them do it. You know that he had those conversations with the Bloodline. If I get in trouble, I have the champion's advantage. You stop him.
That's fair. But I still think you have him too high. But I understand. I understand.
You're just saying that you think I have him too high.
I still think you have him too high.
Whatever. I convinced you, and you're just.
No, you didn't.
You're disagreeing to disagree, and that's fine. But you're wrong. But that's fine.
I mean, overall, the Stone Cold persona, the Stone Cold gimmick, the Stone Cold storyline, I feel like was all better. I feel like the
I
culmination of the Roman Reigns storyline was him losing and Cody's story finishing and starting in a sense. Were there good, high spots along the way? Sure, but so I say I understand where you're coming from. I see why you have him as high as you do. I don't agree.
I think just the Stone Cold persona will last longer than the Roman Reigns Tribal Chief persona. In 15 years from now, let's say Roman Reigns been out of the 5 years. 5 years from now, Roman Reigns calls it quits and retires, right? So 15 years down the road, he's been out of the business for 10 years. You will see more Stone Cold shirts and signs than you see Tribal Chief signs.
It's true.
And that puts Stone Cold probably at that point 30 years out of the business.
And I guarantee you, if any of those fans hear the glass break and
Oh,
that
God.
entrance song, they're going nuts.
They are shitting their pants in their seat.
Even if Stone Cold comes out in a wheelchair.
I think he would at that point in time.
Probably.
No, he'll be on a four-wheeler. Let's be honest.
Yeah. All right. I think we'll probably have some discussions about Roman Reigns still, but we don't have time for that tonight.
We're not going to have him right now, but we'll talk later.
All right.
When we talk factions, we'll definitely be talking.
Oh, yes, we will for sure. And number one, we can say it at the same time because it is the same. There is no question. Number one is The Undertaker.
Yep.
No questions. There's no arguably. There's nothing. The best gimmick to ever happen in the sport is The Undertaker.
And just so we're clear, we're talking The Undertaker, not Dead Man, not American Badass. At least me. I'm talking The Undertaker.
The OG Undertaker.
Yes. The only thing I wish that never existed for The Undertaker persona was goddamn Paul Bearer.
I know you hated him so much.
Oh, Taker! Joe, shut up! Don't talk. Why are you talking? Are you dead?
Oh.
Just make your face. Just make your face and hold the urn, but don't talk. Don't say any words. And shave your mustache. That does not fit the Paul Bearer. Shave your mustache. And don't talk.
But The Undertaker didn't talk. Somebody had to cut his promos for him. All he did was...
doesn't need a pro. His promo needs to be him in a graveyard, closing a casket, looking up and saying, "Rest in peace." Done. Promo cut. Done.
Cut to whoever he's beefing with. Their name is on the grave.
Yeah, done. That's the promo. What else does he need? He's an Undertaker. He puts you into the ground because you are no longer living. You are unalive now.
And he did that a few times.
Yeah. We don't need someone talking for you.
I know you hated Paul Bearer so much. It makes me laugh. I didn't think Paul Bearer was that bad.
I thought he was bad. I guess the only thing that the Undertaker needed Paul Bearer for was the introduction of Kane. The introduction of Kane doesn't happen without Paul Bearer. That's the only purpose to have Paul Bearer, is to introduce Kane.
Yeah.
Who I think I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna throw Kane on my honorable mentions.
Yeah, and good, because I know he had some not so good gimmicks.
No,
pre-Kane.
His number one. His Dr. Yankum was my number one worst entrance ever.
Yes, it was.
So yeah, no, he did not have some good gimmicks.
But yeah, OG Undertaker, like his the mystique and the persona, like we've talked about it before, like it just felt cold. Like
Yeah.
he was like, this was before he was the dead man persona. Like he was the dead man. Like he eats these giant moves and then sits straight up and then choke slams somebody.
Yeah, and he was the reason why he was the number one entrance last week. Like, just the lights going out, and then at one point, the lightning strike at one point in time. But you hear the gong, uh, the lights go down, and well, I guess they go purple, and then just that slow walk to the ring
with the funeral procession. Like it was perfect.
Yep, and then it didn't happen until later, and then the raising up of the lights to bring in the house lights back in, and the rolling of his eyes after he took his hat off. Yeah, just
Well, and
everything
then
about it.
I mean the tombstone pile driver. I mean,
Yep.
like, and then when he pins them, he crosses their arms across their chest and
Yep.
rolls his eyes back, sticks his tongue. Like, yeah, like
Everything.
it was so well done, so well
There
thought
was
out, and just perfectly executed.
there was not one move that the Undertaker did that did not fit his character.
Mm-hmm.
Choke slam from hell, right? Old school. You have to draw some type of supernatural power to be basically 7 feet tall,
Walking
to walk
across,
walking across the top rope and then jumping off and bashing a dude in the face. Like, you have to pull out some supernatural power to do it, because a dude your side should be able to do it, yet alone run across the ring and jump over the top rope and body splash somebody.
yeah,
Dudes your size don't do that unless you are from another world or you're dead and you're flying like a ghost.
yeah. I mean, that was him. That was him. That
Yep.
was it. I mean, if you want to talk about the gong going off, WrestleMania 40, The Rock comes in, interferes, the gong goes off, lights go out, crowd goes crazy.
Yep.
Taker shows up, choke slams Rock. Lights go off. Taker's gone. The crowd's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And then
That was Taker, right? That was Taker.
yeah,
Was that Taker?
Taker
That
showed
was
up.
Taker.
Yeah, and then Cody hits 3 times Crossroads and wins. Like, it was like the perfect culmination to that. Like, what happened? Rock shows up, does his whole thing, their beef, and then or his beef with Cody, and then
Yep.
Taker just shows up out of nowhere. He hasn't been seen in the scene for months.
Yep.
But it's WrestleMania, and Taker owns WrestleMania.
Yep. We're going to talk about that.
Yep, we will eventually. We got
We're
it
going
on
to
our
talk
list.
about this. We're going to talk about the streak.
And he was just that guy. Like, and even though it's morphed into the American Badass and Dead Man Inc. and all that, like, everybody always had that nostalgia, Dead Man feel to him.
Yeah. And this, and his first, and the Undertaker's first real kind of like storyline was with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
That was his original beef, right? Was with the Ultimate Warrior. And if you watch the documentary about the Ultimate Warrior, he talks about that match with the Undertaker, because at that point when they're filming the documentary is not too long before Ultimate Warrior passed away. But Taker's had his career for the most part.
Right.
He's now the Undertaker. But Ultimate Warrior talks about that match, and it was a really good match. Taker won. They go back, and at that point, Taker is just a guy in the locker room. He's not the guy in the locker room, right?
Right.
He's just a guy in the locker room. He's a big dude, but he's not. He doesn't garner the respect or the.
He's not the guy yet.
He's not the guy. He's a guy, but he's not the guy. And he comes back, and Warrior comes back, and Taker walks up to him. And I guess this is just a testament to how much Taker really loved the business and how much he wanted to put into it. He went up to Warrior and he's like, "Hey, was that good? What do I need to work on? What worked out? What was good? What was bad? I need to be good. I want to be better. How was that?" And Warrior's like, "Dude, that was a great match. You are fine. Like, keep doing what you're doing, kid." So, you
And,
know,
and lo and behold, he was one of the greatest ever,
yeah, yeah,
if not the greatest ever. Soon
and
to
and the
be,
guy in the locker, yeah,
I would say, soon to be
like,
debated at some point.
yeah, yeah. If you were a new superstar in the locker room, your whole goal was to have the Taker come up and tell you, "Good job, kid." That was you being knighted. Like, I am a guy now. I am in. I'm officially in because the dead man has come up and said, "Good job, kid."
I made the team.
I am not just on the team anymore. I'm not just a part of the team anymore. I am on the team.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Undertaker all night, but there's a
For
reason
sure.
he's number one, unquestionably. I know when we picked this topic, we were both going to have the same number one, and there
Yep.
was no question about it.
Yep.
Same reason why we did last week, and we both had him as number one.
Yep.
I think we might be Undertaker fans, but I
Yep.
don't think there's any question about it, any of it. So
No. No. Yeah. If you can tell me that a better gimmick than the Undertaker, I will say you hit your head. And you And here's the thing. I've hit my head pretty damn hard, and I have Undertaker as number one.
that's fair. That you did hit it really really hard.
Yeah, so you're wrong if you don't have him as number one.
And
I would
this is
argue I would argue no one has hit their head harder than me ever,
and
and I
lived.
still have Taker as number one. So if you don't like it, I got two words for you. I'm not gonna say them because this is a family show.
I mean, I dropped the F bomb earlier, so
All right then, suck it.
I was so passionate in my defense of Stone Cold at number two that I had to drop an F bomb. I mean,
I
it was
I
fitting. I'm
I
sorry.
I stopped hearing your argument because I don't remember hearing the F bomb. So
Well, it was there.
all right,
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up for tonight.
I think so.
Another top five in the books.
Yep.
We'll be back next week where we'll be talking about the worst gimmicks of all time,
First,
and we
Repo Man,
we we
Repo Man,
we might have some personal
Repo
gimmicks
Man.
that we've built for ourselves.
Ooh, we're bringing
So
that out, huh?
I think we could.
Awesome, awesome. My guy's the shit.
We talked about it a lot today. I'm excited about your persona. I'm kind of
Yeah.
sad I didn't think about it.
Yep. Yeah, you got some work to do.
I do
Yep.
have a lot of work to do.
It's work to do, son.
So thanks as always for tuning in and listening to us and having a good time. If you have any questions for the show, if you have any topics, please send them over to rollandheavybjj@gmail.com and we will happily answer you and hopefully put your topic on the air. Make sure we give you some acknowledgement that where the topic came from. But do we have any parting words of wisdom from the notorious BOF?
I'm not sure if I have given any words of wisdom the last hour and a half, so probably not.
All right then. With that, we'll cut it till next time. So thanks everyone, and have a wonderful night.